Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. All right, we here to talk about Real Housewives of, I was going to say Beverly Hills, as if I have been really reviewing that. Um, Real Housewives of Atlanta. And the name of it is She by Herself or something like that, something super shady. All right, let's get into it. All right, so we start off still at the table. We pick up right where we left off, and they're talking to Drew about the assistant. Sonia is in her confessional saying how she really want to rock with Drew, but she kind of can't. And we're gonna get back to that later. But she's telling her to just cut off toxic people, like you should have let him go. So I think she, don't like the fact that she knows what this guy has said and she's just being messy. And her running around telling Sheree's business was just being messy. And she's like, well, they're asking, do you think you need to apologize? And she's like, well, if I made you feel that way, and if some, like all that BS apology, if you felt that way, if I came off that way. But Sheree said, do you feel like you need to apologize for putting your hands in my face? And she was like, I will. Like she was stuttering and all kind of stuff. I will apologize for that too. And yeah, it just seemed very, and she's like, I just talk with my hands. And Sheree's like, you can't do that. Okay, high five. And I'm like, I was with Marlo on this one. I don't know if y'all real or fake because that whole thing was just fake and phony. And y'all just know Drew is a liar. She's a liar, and I'm sure I'm going to say it a billion more times tonight. So, oh, yeah. Then Ralph comes in and he's like, well, where did my name come in it? And Sheree just very nicely was like, well, he wasn't just talking about you, he was talking about a lot of people. So I thought it was nice. She didn't continue to badger him or whatever about what he did because, dude, they already told you. He said you're gay, all right? Like, what do you mean? And then Sherea's like, well, what I didn't do is what you did to me, Drew. She's like, I didn't run around telling your business or telling what he said about your husband or whatever to everybody the same way you did. And so it eventually comes back to Candy and Sheree saying, I thought you was my friend and you shouldn't have gone to two other people instead of coming to me. And Candy was like, you're right. And Kenya, oh my God, she's right. This is what you need to do, Drew. You need to own some things. This is what you need to do. And yeah, I mean, Drew don't own nothing because Drew's a liar. So yeah, so yeah, Candy owns it. She says, look, I'll apologize because I was wrong, and that's that. Then Kenya's phone starts blowing up, and Marlo is like, "Is that Mark? Don't let him stress you out." Like she was just very concerned. I don't know if it was being super nice or super nosy. I don't know. You just never know with Marlo because sometimes even when she act concerned, like she will turn on you in 2 seconds. Well, really, all these ladies will, but yeah, she'll turn on you in 2 seconds, so you can't even really. I don't know. But they go out. Well, Kenya walks out and Marlo follows her. And come to find out, Kenya ended up trying to me, force Brooklyn on Mark with dropping her off so that they could spend time together and everything. And then apparently he's like, well, you got to come pick her up too. Like he doesn't want to do anything. And later on in the episode, somebody's going to tell her, or maybe it was even now, where Marlo's like, well, you're just going to have to stop calling him and let him try. No, I won't do that because I have to have my daughter know that her father loves her. Well, if it's true and her father loves her, he's going to try to get with her. So you shouldn't have to facilitate the whole entire thing every single time. So Kenya likes to give a whole lot of advice, you guys, but she don't take it at all. Like at all. So then they're at the table talking about Tyrone coming, and everybody's so excited. And I'm like, y'all just so nosy. Y'all not excited to meet this man. And she is talking about him with this ankle monitor and everything on, and he can only travel like 100 miles outside of where he is or whatever. Like, she's talking just to the table, to all these people. Like, that's just normal that your man was in jail forever and is now on house arrest and trying to see you. Like, Sheree, this is not a great storyline for you. It's not making you look good at all. And then later on, when, it's time to see him and she's traveling to him, and yeah, I'm jumping ahead because, listen, we probably just not going to do the whole step by step thing. But when she's traveling to him or whatever, she calls the daughter. The daughter is like, Uh-huh. Yeah, like the daughter's not feeling him at all. And so when she's sitting at that table when he don't come, and we already know that, or we knew he wasn't coming because that was on the blogs and everything, that they kind of set him up or whatever. Like he got to the blogs first and made it seem like they set him up. So he wasn't really looking all that bad in the situation because we know behind the scenes what happened. But that's just to get that out the way. So we're not going to go back to that later. She ends up going to try to see him because he can't come. And everybody's like, why can't he come? Well, did he say why he can't come? Why can't he come? And I'm like, y'all so freaking nosy. It's none of your business why he can't come. He can't come. And I'm not even a super fan of Sheree. But Jesus, give it a rest. Um, so yeah, daughter was just like, listen, you got to get yourself together. Like, this is just too much. And yeah, like, Sheree, it's just not a good look. And then you keep calling your daughter about every little thing. Number one, you already not looking good with the situation you in. And then you keep bringing her into it with all the bad stuff that he's doing. And then, oh my God, when he don't come and she starts crying, that seemed genuine though. But she calls Kenya? You call Kenya? Kenya can't wait to throw stuff in people's faces. Like, why would that be the person you call? She did a great job at playing a friend at the time. She was there for her, but I guarantee you it's gonna come back to bite her that she called Kenya, and Kenya is all in her business. Um, so yeah, we'll move on from Sheree. Now back at the table, because I just jumped all the way ahead. Marlo is telling Candy that she think the sex stuff, she's just taking it too far. And I'm like, that's her business. She has a whole show. Okay, never mind, Marlo. And she's like, you got these panties you want us to do. So basically Candy is talking to Todd and she's like, I think she coming for me. I think she really trying me or whatever. Yeah, she trying you. But with the whole, oh, you do too much with the sex stuff, she knows that's your business. But I'm gonna have to agree with Marlo and Kenya on this panty thing. It's just why? Like, why would anybody want to do that? Why would you want them to do that going to a Broadway play? Why would you want them to do that, period? Like, you do that with your man on a date or something like that. That's not a group thing, but it's whatever. All right, so then we have Sonia and Kenya going for a walk, and they're just talking about Drew and the fact that she has this drop it like Drew, and she is telling everybody she lost all these pounds. And Kenya's like, how did she lose all these pounds? And she got a tummy tuck. She like really had fat surgery. What she say? They cut off her stomach or something. She said. But yeah, and then we see the flashback of Drew saying, yeah, so I got a lift and a little tuck, and girl, she is so fraudulent. She's such a liar. Oh my God, I can't stand Drew. I can't stand this girl. And I guess maybe it's good they had her back so that she's the one that they can make fun of all season. And hopefully she don't come back next season because I'm over her. Like I really am over her. But yeah, so they just got a laugh out of the fact that, she's a liar, basically, and fraudulent. But they were talking about how they really didn't like, what she did with Sheree. And Sonya's like, yeah, and her putting her hands in her face. I just can't get with all of that. All right, so they're at, I guess, lunch or something, and they sit down. It's a good time. Everybody's happy, everybody's talking and laughing. And Marlo is talking about, she's handing Kenya her coat. She's like, being a stylist really serves me, taught me how to be, a better person to serve or whatever. And she said she used to style Jazzy Faye, I guess, or whatever, because she's like, I style people that you guys don't even know. And Candy's like, you did more with him than just style him. And she's like, mm-hmm. And I'm like, ew, she used to sleep with him. Okay, listen, I'm not judging. But we see a flashback of her seeing him, and she's just super happy to see him and everything. She said that they were seeing each other, but he had a girlfriend at the time. Wait, did she say that? Wait, did she like really admit that she was or he was talking to somebody and she didn't want to be the other woman, but she definitely made it out like she slept with him and everything. So did she sleep with this guy while he had a girlfriend? I mean, would we be shocked? Would we? So Kenya turns and she asks, I think it's Candy she's pointing to, who's the most famous person she dated or that hit on her. So Candy said, and it's so funny because Todd was like, "Don't make me fuck somebody up." So Candy said she was in a full blown relationship with Gerald Levert. And do we know that? I feel like that's not my first time hearing it, but I gotta take that in. Like Gerald Levert, yeah, he was a sexy big man, so I ain't mad. But yeah, maybe I've always thought of him as being like older, but maybe not actually. I mean, Candy is not a spring chicken. She's around my age, I believe. Um, yeah, so she was in a full blown relationship with Gerald Levert. How about that? And again, I'll allow it because he is a big sexy man. That does happen. All right, so then y'all know Drew's lying ass talking about LeBron sent her, and we actually, I didn't know nothing about it. It actually hit the blogs before it came out, and I think he said something about it, like he made reference to it before it even came out the episode. But she said something about him listening to her music before games or what. She's such a liar, and he flew her out, and everybody in their confessional was like, hold on, haven't they been together since high school, him and his woman? So yeah, Drew is always on fantasy island. She is just so ditzy. And Marlo says Gene Simmons, and everybody's like, who's that, who's that? He was a member of Kiss. She like us some white man. Okay, okay, all right, Marlo. Yeah, so we get to Kenya and this fool getting up doing the little hand gesture and all that stuff that Prince did. And they like, Prince? And she's just laughing. Drew is in the confessional talking about she can't wait to read her memoir that will be full of lies. And I'm like, look at the pot calling the kettle. Like, really? You calling somebody a liar? So then we get on the bus and they have on these panties and half the girls not playing. What's her name? Sheree left her remote upstairs. I'm like, sure you did. But I would just said no anyway. Like, no, I don't have that shit on. And then Sonya? She is just beeping, trying to figure out who's doing it. Her husband's like, I'm not touching it. And apparently, Candy is slick. She's like, yeah, any remote can really work for any of them and all that. Again, inappropriate. I'm just not with it. Like, I get she was trying to have fun or whatever, but I feel like you gotta have a different way of having fun. So all the ladies that wasn't with it, again, I'm with them. Yeah, so after the play is over, everybody's telling her how good it was, and she's like, okay, change clothes, put on your pajamas or whatever, meet me downstairs. We're gonna do a pajama jammy jam or whatever. And who's downstairs first? Marlo, Kenya, and Sheree. So all these shady queens, these shade queens, are together, and yeah, they about to look up Drew's website. And Lord, if Marlo don't Google it and look it up, and then when she click it, you know how I said something went wrong. This fool's like something went wrong, and they like what went wrong, and then they showed where it actually really did say something went wrong. Yeah, so her stuff is just no bueno. But we already knew that, right? Because Drew is full of shit. Yeah, so they talking about how her website don't work and everything. Kenya says, no, first Marlo says that her website works. And then Kenya is like, yeah, you want some Kenya Moore hair care? Go to my, excuse me, go to my website and we'll ship it to your door. Y'all, Sheree in her confessional says, when I launch, you will be able to get your that fool said, when I launch, you will be able to get it spring, summer, September. Girl, when I launch, like, Sheree just be looking a damn fool on here, and she don't even care. So when everyone else comes and they sit down, Kenya, starts off by apologizing to Ralph. She's like, I was projecting. And I'm like, yes, ma'am, you were. I am glad that you realized that. So yeah, she apologized, said she wasn't trying to offend him or whatever. He accepted her apology and was like, sometimes I can be misunderstood. And I'm like, he is still defending himself in a roundabout way, but okay, goof troop. And Kenya asked if anybody else had anything else, and Todd is like, yeah, I'm just gonna take the men. And right away, Sonya's husband was like, all right, let's go. he already he already see what happens here. He's not about it. So the men leave, and then Sonya has something to say to Drew. So before Sonya starts, Drew looks at Sheree and like, "Are we good?" Sheree's like, "We good." So apparently they're good. The phony little sorry, okay, I forgive you, that worked. So Sonya starts talking and she's like, yeah, I was talking to Kenya and I've been trying to talk to you. And Drew is constantly making these faces like, huh? What? And then it's so annoying, y'all. Oh my God, this girl is so freaking annoying. I cannot. Um, but and I'm not gonna lie, Sonya was talking in a roundabout, like she was just going round and round. And Candy was like, Lord, next time she want to tell somebody something, she need to write it down because she's not good at expressing her feelings. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to agree with her there because what are you saying, Sonya? Pick it out, spit it out. But she's telling her how I know you wanted me to stand up for you, but and Drew's making all the faces, and she's like, well, let me try to explain it because you're making all these faces or whatever. Like you don't get it. She's like, no, I don't get it. I'm confused. Well, nah, you're about to get it. And everybody was like, well, dang. So again, Sonya's trying to explain. She's like, you putting your hand in Sheree's face. I don't rock with that. Like I want to be your friend. I'm trying to get with you, but some of the stuff that you do, I just don't rock with it. And Drew again is making out. She just over exaggerates every goddamn thing. She's so ridiculous. And she's like, Drew, I understand the faces. And I'm like, thank you. Call her out because she's overacting. Like she's always on, trying to just give too much. And it really do be too much. Drew is just like, well, I don't understand because I just saw you. We were just in the room together. You could have told me there. And Sonya's like, you have the biggest entourage ever. She didn't say it out loud to her, which I wish she would have. She said it in the confessional. She got all these assistants and hair and makeup and everything. So, no, it wasn't the appropriate time to, say anything. So, again, Drew is just like, I don't understand why, you've been talking to me and you wait until now. She's like, well, can you open the floor up? So I felt like it was a good time to tell you. So I feel like basically she's just trying to let Drew know I ain't really fucking with you like that. I mean, basically, that's what you want to tell her. Just say it. And can I just say, in my opinion, I feel like Sonya is not liking the fact that she was brought in with Drew. You know how they always have someone bring you in, and you always have to be like a friend of someone. And I don't think they knew each other. Half the time these people don't know each other for real. Because if you listen, when she started off, she said, you were the first person I met. And I just think that she's embarrassed by the fact that she was brought in with Drew. And so that makes it seem like her and Drew are actual friends. And, these other ladies might think that she really, really get on with her. And maybe birds of a feather, I don't know. And she's seen that Drew is a liar. Drew is fraudulent. Drew is an over actor. Like she just got a lot of issues going on. And I just don't think Sonya wants to be tied to that. So I get it. So finally, Drew is just like, girl, now mind you, she already brought up the fact that you were in my room and whoever her makeup artist is did your makeup. And Sonya rolls her eyes like, okay. So then she says, oh, you came in, I picked you up when you had a car accident. You could have talked to me then. And I'm like, okay, again, Drew is the type of person who will do stuff for you and throw it in your face because she just did that real quick. Like if you wasn't really listening, you would have missed it that she's just constant with what she's doing for people. And she's ridiculous. Like Sonya said, trying to talk to her is just like it's worse than trying to talk to her little son. And it is because she's ridiculous and she's just smiling. She's all in the confessional. She mad at somebody, but it ain't me. And like Drew just overreacts and she telling her she tried it or something she told her. And I'm just like, Drew is constantly aware of these cameras and that's the problem. she is constantly aware of these cameras, and that's why she's always on, and it's just not genuine at all. But anyway, Marlo starts with her jokes, and she's like, "Well, let's just talk about how Kenya tried to join, and Drew so stupid." Oh my God, thank you guys. No, dummy, they're talking about you and the fact that your website didn't work. And she's like, no, it worked, everything worked. And then suddenly, when they say no, pull it up. Like Marlo kept saying, try to pull it up, pull it up, pull up your stuff. Oh, oh, it crashed. A liar. She just is such a liar and not even good at it. I don't know how they even deal with her because you can't believe a word that comes out of her mouth. Y'all, so Marlo says, because she said that, yes, she did have a tummy tuck or whatever. And Marlo's like, okay, so basically drop it with Drew is just to maintain surgery. No, no. And then Sonya's like, I've tried to explain it and I still can't explain it. Then we have Drew explaining it, and she's saying like 1,200 different things. And production and editing is just having her like go on and say all these different things. And everybody's in the confessional like, so is it where they send you meals? Is it a program that you go to in Chicago? It like she has named all these different things. Why? Because she's a liar. And so Kenya just says, sounds like a Ponzi scheme to me. And I'm like, me too, because these people are being cheated. If y'all really out there trying to drop it with Drew, you now see how she was able to drop it. Don't do it. So then Sheree says, well, if this is working for all these different people, hundreds of people, and they're losing weight, why did you have to get liposuction? Oh, because I had a hernia, and because I had this, and I had that. And then they doing it again with her coming with all these excuses. And Candy says, listen, I think everybody is just trying to see if it's a legitimate business. And Marlo's like, yeah, girl, we just think you just be lying. And I'm like, she do just be lying. And then she's like, wow, what are you talking about? Y'all want to see how much money I make or whatever? And she picks up her phone knowing good and well she's not going to pull nothing up. And I'm like, these are the wrong ladies to be asking, because what does Sheree do? Oh, yeah, girl, show us. I'm like, you know they want to see it if you're going to show it. You had no intention of showing it because you're a fake and a phony. Y'all, so now in the confessional, they asking her how much it costs to join Drop It With Drew and everything. She don't even know that. She had to call somebody. Hey, Jackie, can you stay on the line with me? Because they're asking me about numbers and this is your part of the business. I'm like, because you are just a face and name, apparently. Because you're not doing anything else with the business. You don't even know how much it costs. Like, and then she wants to tell them how she's so passionate about it. This is a passion of her. Is it really? You don't even know how much it costs to sign up. Like, you can't even explain what it is successfully. People still don't understand what it is. And Marlo is just like, you just need to keep it 100, at some point. These girls just really think you're a liar, ma'am, and you're not picking up on it for some reason, or you just don't care. All right, so just as they're in there talking, Tyrone FaceTime Sheree, and they're all like, "Oh, hey, happy to meet you." And the other girls are back there talking to Drew. She's pulling up something about her meal plans and everything. And then I think it's Kenya was like, "Oh, girls, come here, see this." And I'm like, "This or see Tyrone, see the guy?" Like, oh my God, they act like he's Snuffleupagus. Y'all remember that on Sesame Street? That they thought Snuffleupagus wasn't real because they could never see him. They thought Big Bird was crazy. But yeah, so Tyrone is just telling her that he, can't wait to see her, yada, 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 because we know how this is going to end.